Hi everyone. Surprise, surprise. A very impromptu, I would say, stitch with me. So, as you know, my stitchy bag was gone, and at the moment it's totally back. It's very much back. It cannot be more back than it is. So, I am spending most of my free time just doing something connected to stitching. If that's not stitching itself, it's at least dealing with my flosses and so on. And today I decided, I just finished working, so it is really unplanned and with a new setup, so I really hope that that's going to work. And I decided to basically just share with you what was happening during this time when I wasn't on FlossTube and so on. Probably knowing me, it's going to be like a complete mess as always. But if you are here and you are for the Stitch with me, I think that you know what to expect. So I think that I'm not going to surprise anyone here. But yeah, so here we have what I am currently stitching on the market stall by Ciro Marchetti, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So this is very much at the moment I cannot say my main piece, because I am basically working on a lot of things now, and I try to just change things, not to get bored or not to get burnt out in any way. However, this one was calling to me today, so I just finished working and I decided to just sit with my stitching and share that with you. So if you remember from one of my first, I think that was one of my first videos, I was super excited about having the floss cards and so on for the project. To be honest, I have to tell you that it absolutely doesn't work for me at the moment. So yeah, I'm just going to be finishing whatever I have on my floss card now and just get my floss from my master set. At the moment I am still in the process of creating my master set and finishing that, so let's see how it goes. But I think that this way, especially with just so many projects that I have, it's going to be working the best. So at the moment I am just finishing what I have there. And here you have the pattern as mentioned before. This is the market stall, Ciro Marchetti, and I am stitching that on the 22 count Sulta by Zweigart. And I am using CXC flosses, and I'm stitching that 1/1 because this is, for me, it's a perfect coverage without just getting into not making me blind, so, or at least not too blind. And as you can see, I tried stitching in frames, however, hoop and just holding the hoop in my hand is my preferred method. I think it's just the easiest for me, and I can easily see what I'm doing. I can just plop my project to the back and finish the thread and so on, so I don't need to worry about I don't know, finding any kind of fancier ways of finishing my threads and so on. I'm just anchoring that at the back on the stitches that are already there. So what was happening with me when I wasn't here? I hope that you are interested in that, because I'm the person who likes talking. So I don't mind talking, but I would really love you to like listening to what you're hearing. I'm not going to just like keep you here by force. But I think that my last video before my latest one, so before the mid-year whip parade, was it March? The beginning of April, I think. The beginning of April, yeah, because I was just before my medical leave, and also it was the month of my floss tube anniversary that I never celebrated. Yeah, so that must have been April. So basically, I had 4 weeks of medical leave, and I have to tell you that it was the best decision I could make. I am really happy. I'm super, super grateful because I have an amazing doctor and psychiatrist, and I have to admit that when I found him, I was just like pretty, I won't say desperate, but I think that I had given up. I had given up, and basically I have an amazing therapist. We've been together for 6 years now, I think. And each time when she's even mentioning that maybe I would like to just, lower the frequency or something, I'm just like, nope, you're not getting rid of me. This lady helped me so much that I cannot even describe that. But yeah, so I have an amazing therapist, and with the psychiatrist, it was always just like, if I can find the okay-ish one, it's going to be okay. Because with psychiatrists, it's a bit different than with the therapists. You really, at least I thought so, that you don't need to vibe with them so much. And so far, before I met the current one, so I had only one psychiatrist in my life where I really kind of felt the connection, and I felt really, really amazing with her. But after that, it never happened again. So that was pretty difficult. I was just getting my meds, and that's it. So before moving in with my boyfriend and basically just moving to another town, I had a psychiatrist that basically, let me just mark my stitches so I will know where I am, that basically he was okay. I chose him mostly because he was near me. So it was easy to get to the appointments and so on. I don't drive. To probably all my American friends, it's a huge shock. But yeah, I don't have a need. So if I can do anything that doesn't require driving, that's perfect. That's perfect for me. So I had this psychiatrist in the previous town. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't perfect because I very much thought that he was just like doing that in quantity, not the quality. So my appointments basically never took longer than 10-15 minutes, and that was max. That was really max. but it didn't hit me so much until one of my last appointments with him, because at that time, I don't remember at the moment what was happening, but I was extremely anxious, and it was very difficult for me to just basically leave the house. So at that time, my boyfriend was able to join me, and he was off work. So I asked him if he would be okay to go with me to my psychiatrist appointment, because it's just like I would like to have some company in general to when leaving the house. So he went with me to this appointment, and after we left, he was just like, "Is that what it always looked like?" And I was just like, basically, yes. So he was in shock, because he was your doctor, really didn't even listen to you fully, and it was just before you even started talking, he was already ready with your next prescription refill, and that was it. And he was just like already ready to just kind of see you go. And it's just like, yeah, that this is kind of normal. So he was super shocked. But after moving here, I was still just like traveling to the previous one, and I was just basically, if I have like a not the best doctor and I need to travel like 3 hours to see them, I can just like look for basically any doctor that will be able to refill my prescription here, and just at least have somebody here on site. So I started looking, and I found this current one, and I was so super lucky because they just had an opening. And finding a psychiatrist here in Germany, you must be very lucky, because very often even the waiting list is not opened, and if it is opened, it is anywhere between 3 to 6 months. So basically, when I called them, they had an opening, and the next appointment that I could get was in 2 weeks. So I was just like, hell yeah, I'm going. And I went there, actually just like thinking, okay, I'm just finding any doctor. He can just like give me the prescription. I'm going to be fine with anything. I know what is wrong. Everything is good. And I was so surprised, because this guy, my first appointment, I think it took an hour. Of course, this is the first one. He's asking you about your history and so on. But this one was really asking me. He was taking notes. He was asking extra, like some additional questions and so on. And when I left, I was like, what just happened? This is a completely new experience. And basically, every appointment that I have with him looks like that. So we talk, we discuss everything that is happening in my life at the moment, what is happening at work, with my family, in my relationship, and so on. He's asking me about, in general, my well-being journey, because he knows that this year I kind of decided not to only concentrate on the most urgent things, let's say, but also try to get better in general. So every appointment is just amazing. We talk a lot, we laugh and cry a lot. So it's a fantastic thing to feel this kind of connection with a specialist, and that you feel that you are not only like the number in their books, but you are being treated like a human, and it's fantastic. So he was pushing me. He was really pushing me to take this time off. And at the beginning, it was 2 weeks. But after these 2 weeks, I called him, and he was just like, so yeah, you probably are ready to take like next 2 weeks. Because from the beginning, he was telling me that 2 weeks is not going to be enough. But I was just like, okay, let's divide that. Let's see how I feel and so on. So I ended up with 4 weeks off, and that was absolutely amazing. But during this time, I think that it was also the time that I kind of started losing my stitchy bug. I was stitching a bit, but I left at that time stitching, because stitching is a super relaxing thing for me. So I was trying to relax very hard. And unfortunately, because I'm a silly moo, it got me to the point where trying to relax so hard with something that like brought me joy and peace, and it grounded me, I started treating my stitching again as a chore. So nope, no good. And when I was off and I left this kind of chore-ish mindset, the stitchy bug was gone a bit. There was a bit of a burnout on the stitching as well. So I decided that I was going to be just gentle with myself and not force anything. And I kind of let the bug float away, and I was left also kind of on my own doing other things. There were lots of just like playing on my phone, of course. I love all this kind of like apps with coloring, with puzzles on my phone and so on. So that was that. Then thanks to my ADHD medication, I started reading again. I started reading the physical books. Because, as you know, for a very, very long time, I was able to only read with my ears. Because when I tried to read something on paper, I couldn't concentrate. It was like reading the same sentence 7 times and still not knowing what that was about. But after the ADHD medication started working, I was finally able to focus again. And it was just like, it was really amazing, because after, in my childhood, reading was my escape. I was basically devouring books. And kind of losing that, I thought that I lost also a huge part of myself. So that's why just like getting back to reading. Look at this bag. This bag is just like amazing, but I don't care. Nobody's going to look at that. So getting back to reading and being able to again kind of get lost in the worlds, the different worlds. And I was just reading basically everything. I will tell you about my reading in a moment. But let me first move my hoop a bit so it's easier. I don't know if you, when you are stitching on the hoop, if you have the same, but it's just like my favorite stitching position is just like, it's very much in this corner. So it's just close to the left top side. Not very close, but just like, you know, like about 2 centimeters, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch from the top, and then about like 1.5 inch, 4 centimeters from the side. So this is just like a perfect position for me. So I started reading and I started devouring books again. And of course, when you are just like reading, you cannot stitch. So it was basically taking also all of my time, and I read hell a lot, and I'm super grateful for like Kindle Unlimited, because it made me not go bankrupt at that time, but also it introduced me to the magical world of romtasy, supernatural fantasy, supernatural romance, and all this fun stuff. So also for my whole life, I was sure that I need to read big things. So things that are considered classic, things that are considered character building, things that teach you something. But I was reading that, but not always I enjoyed reading that. So my reading in general, it kind of went away as well. Even with the audiobooks, I had like some series that I liked and so on, some authors that I like, but it wasn't anything specific. So when I started reading with my eyes again, and I discovered all these amazing parts of literature that maybe it's not that I wasn't aware of, but I wasn't kind of exposed to, I started reading what made me happy. And that's the best decision of my life. Because my dearest friends, you're going to laugh, yeah girl, started reading a lot of smut. Nicely called romtasy, but it's just, yeah. The thing was that at the beginning, when I just started reading, I was doing that to relax my brain. So I didn't want anything with just like huge plot and just like a big world and character building and so on. I wanted something that was easily digestible. And smut is like that. So even all these so-called hot and spicy scenes, I don't care about them so much. But if you give me a romance with little to zero drama, I'm going to be super happy. I'm going to be so extremely happy. Let me just take a sip of my coffee. Sorry, I hope that you didn't hear the swallowing sound. So yeah, it's just like little to no drama, romance, easy world building, not especially deep characters, perfection. But of course, with that, when I was just like reading that so intensely, other things started coming. And the moment, especially when you are on social media, the moment you just see something book related and you check something book related, you are being taken into this magical world of, for example, Bookstagram, or as on TikTok that was Book Talk, I think so. I have no idea. But basically, I got exposed. I got exposed again to something, and I started getting into other things. So, when I was, I think preteen, that would be the most, I was very much into fantasy. And as a teenager, I discovered fantasy and magic and witches and all this stuff. And I absolutely loved that. So then, of course, I'm a millennial, so Harry Potter came, but with Harry Potter series, it was a bit different for me, I think, than other people, because I started reading that pretty late. I was in my late teens, I would say. I think that I was like 17, 18 when I was reading Harry Potter. So it was pretty late, you must admit. But it's just like I was getting completely lost in the world and so on. And that was such a gorgeous escape for me. But then it was studies and completely different reading, because I studied English and I did my master's on English, on young adult literature. I was lucky enough because actually I wrote my thesis on young adult fantasy literature. So that was also something that was very much on brand for me. But after that, when you finish university and you start working, everything just goes away. And then my ADHD also started showing, and I really couldn't concentrate on anything for longer than a few moments. And with the written word, it was absolutely difficult. So kind of losing that was extremely difficult for me. And now when I just started getting back to that, it makes me so super happy. So of course, Bookstagram and all the bookish information on social media, you cannot just like not be attacked by some series, and especially that was Sarah J. Maas and Akotar, Court of Thorns and Roses. So I had the first book for I think 6 years already, but I never managed to read past, I don't know, page 20 maybe. It is bloody boring. When you start that, it is bloody boring. But so many of my friends were telling me, just give it a try, go through book 1, and you will fall in love with book 2. And that was kind of right. I went past the book 1, and if the first book is to be the indicator for the whole series, if that wasn't for my friends, I would absolutely never touch the rest. Because if you do the reread, and I did, on A Court of Thorns and Roses, I did the reread, and only then the book makes sense. Before that, I was so annoyed And when you have the when you have like the main character that gets on your nerves so much, it is very difficult to read further. But I am happy that I managed to go past that and read the rest of the series. I am actually halfway through the A Court of Silver Flames at the moment. And yeah, I really like it. I don't think that this is like the highest literature ever. And I still see a lot that I don't like, but it's enjoyable. It is so super enjoyable, and definitely it's this kind of like escape from reality that I was always looking for in books. So yeah, I am very, very happy that I managed to go past the part 1 and go further. But basically, I'm not going to be going too much into that, because if you haven't read it, I don't want to give you spoilers. Maybe at some point I will just like do a separate part on ACOTAR only, with all the spoilers and all my opinions. But yeah, it's not the place and time for that now. Because I didn't give you the warning for that. So, and I don't have my notes. No, I don't have notes. But yeah, that was one of these things. So I was just like reading a lot, and that and other books, just like romance series, and not only series, but also any kind of like books that made me feel warm, fuzzy, and nice. So basically, I think that one of the authors, not at the moment talking about fantasy, but in general, that her books, when they just come, when they are released, I am bloody running to get them. So this is Emily Henry. I absolutely love her books. They are so super sweet. And one of them, Happy Place, because I started with her books as audiobooks and ebooks, but for Happy Place I needed to get myself a physical book, and I think that this is the only book that I'm going to at some point attack with highlighters and do all the annotations and so on, because this book hit me in places that I would never expect a romance book to hit me in. So that's why I'm definitely going to go back to that and reread that and take notes and so on. But really, if you are looking for a summer read, Happy Place, definitely. So that was lots of reading and just like finding myself in a kind of new situation, new environment for me. And then when I came back to work after this 4 weeks break, I kept reading whenever I could, and stitching was like completely gone. But also a new thing started, because I don't know if any of you follow me, especially on Instagram. I was talking about like trying to find a like fitness studio, a gym with a good trainer and so on, but that was a huge struggle, because I know that I am not the easiest to kind of cater to. I know what I want. I know what I would like the place that I am actually paying for, and it's not that it's like small money. So I would like this place to be what I wanted to be, what I needed to be for me, for my needs. And unfortunately, it is not always met with like the warmest approach. Okay, marking the stitches. Oh, we're doing quite well. Where am I at the moment? Sorry for shaking you. 130 stitches. Hello, that's working quite well. So, yeah, that was this thing that I really was trying to find something for myself, but unfortunately, people couldn't understand that. And can you imagine that I am probably one of a few people that were rejected in writing by a gym. They told me, sorry, we cannot help you, bye-bye. So I was super discouraged, and yeah, that was extremely difficult for me, because just like, you want to do something with your life. I want to get fitter, I want to feel better, I want to feel better in my body, and so on. And especially for a person with ADHD and the rejection sensitivity dysmorphia, and like extreme body issues, body image issues. And I have officially been diagnosed now with like body dysmorphia. So hey, yeah. So if you are being rejected by a gym, it doesn't work so well on your self-esteem and so on. So yeah, that was a bit difficult, but I didn't give up. And I have an amazing friend. We met at university. She's in the US at the moment. And unfortunately, she's one of these people that I would love to have closer to me. Closer in a physical sense. Because she is just such a smart person. And when I am just in any way not very nice to myself, and I have a tendency to that, you don't hear that so much during my videos and so on, but I am the master of self-deprecating jokes and so on. So she taught me, actually, in our conversations and so on, she taught me how to be nicer to myself in general. And her, together with my boyfriend, who is supporting me immensely, I started doing that. And she told me, because in the US she is doing a lot with Peloton. And she told me, okay, you have like the trial period, so try that, see if that's something that's going to work for you, and so on. So I started doing that. I started with Peloton, and for the first time in my life, I started taking pleasure from moving my body. Just doing that, just even if that was like 5 minutes of stretching, it was 5 minutes more than not doing anything at all. So I started with Peloton. I did this trial period, and after this trial period, I felt ready for more. And I realized also that I would like to restore some mobility in my life in my life, sorry, in my body, that I wasn't like fully aware that I don't have. Because it was over 15 years ago at the moment, I had like the strangest accident with my dog. So I had her on the leash, and there was like a tiny dog without a leash that was just like running around her and yapping. And she was a boxer, so a big dog, the calmest dog ever. Really, it's just like she was a saint. And I was asking the owners of this other dog to just like leash it and to just do something, because I was just like, she's calm, but I don't know when she's just going to lose her patience. They didn't. This tiny dog was just like running around, and she didn't want to attack and so on, but she basically kind of wanted to rush towards this dog. But as I had her on the leash, and it was a very, very short leash, she pulled on my arm, but not towards. She was behind me, and she pulled on my arm in a way that it moved 2 of my vertebrae. And yeah, for a very, very long time, there was lots of pain. But I came across at that time the worst doctor ever, the worst surgeon ever. And basically, he didn't even do the x-ray of my arm. He decided that like this is like the tennis elbow, and he just like told me to not move my arm, and prescribed me lots of painkillers. And for a very, very long time, I was just like, I was really in pain. But I had an amazing friend then, who was a massage therapist. And once we were just like meeting, and she just looked at me. It was at her place, and she looked at me, and this is just like, what's wrong with your spine? And there was just like, nothing. Just like, but from the way you are moving, I can see that there is something wrong with your spine. And I was just like, no, this is just like a tennis elbow and so on. And she was just like, no. And she like stood me in front of a huge mirror. She just like pulled my t-shirt up, and she showed me, and I had just like the swelling the size of my palm. And she was just like, I can see that this is the spine. And then she just started checking that, and it was her who found out that actually it was like the 2nd and the 3rd vertebra, so the neck vertebra, and that's where a bit moved. She managed to just kind of get it back in place with the massage, so it helped a lot. But of course, once you are fixed, quotation marks, you stop thinking about that. So when it wasn't hurting, I wasn't thinking about that. Everything was fine. But it was kind of coming back from time to time. And I didn't realize, because this is not like a movement that you do very often, I didn't have like the full mobility of my right arm to the back. So I can just like put my arm up with no problems. I can just like do anything in front of me and so on, and I don't feel any discomfort, any pain and so on. But anything that just takes my arm a bit to the back becomes almost impossible. So I was talking to my doctor, and he was just like, basically here in Germany, you can do it's like how do you call that? It's a kind of like sport gymnastics, not the gymnastics like the Olympic gymnastics, but it's called Reha-sport. So it's kind of like physiotherapy, rehabilitation for your body, done in a group by a trainer that helps you just like by gentle moves and so on. Move that. So I had this information, and I knew about like gyms that had also this Reha-sport in the offer. So we went to one with my boyfriend, and actually when I started talking to the trainer that we had like our like kind of advice, our, how do you call it, consulting our, hell, I don't know what that is, but it's just like she was just like talking to us about our needs and so on. And once I started talking to her and she showed me the whole understanding of what is happening with my body, with my mobility and so on, and she was just like, okay, you want to do this and that, however, I am not going to, and nobody here is going to allow that before you see an osteopath, and they will tell us if everything is okay, if this is allowed in just like a normal one. Because I was just like, okay, if I'm going to this Reha-sport, I can just also go to the fitness studio and just like sign a contract with them, blah, blah, blah. And after that, I was just like, okay, this is a sentence that I needed, that shows that you know what you are doing. Give me the contract, I'm signing that, and we are starting. So thanks to her, I got my osteopath appointments. I did that, and I am slowly restoring my mobility. I am going once a week to this Reha-sport, and it works amazingly. It's so much fun. And when everything works out as it does now, I don't want to just like say too much aloud, because universe is very ready to just like tell me hold my beer again. I want to start the strength training and also weightlifting, because that was my dream for a very, very long time. So yeah, it's been now over a month, and I am like super regular with the gym and with this Reha-sport and so on. And I really started finding so much joy in moving my body that I never thought that was possible in my case, because I am not the most physical person. I am not the most active person. If you look at me, you can guess that this girl runs on coffee and chocolate. But now I started moving my body, and my condition is just like much, much better. And I started also like taking care of my nutrition and so on. I'm not talking about diet, because diet always sounds like something super, super restrictive. But I definitely pay more attention to what and how I eat. And definitely I feel much, much better. So now I was also spending a lot of time at the gym or biking. Not necessarily going for walks, because just like walking is boring in my opinion. But I started finding so much joy in biking. So that's one of the things. And very often I just bike to my fitness studio, because it's like, I don't know, 15 minutes from me as well. So it's another thing that makes it even more enjoyable, that I already have my warm-up and I can just like jump onto the machines and do everything that I want to do and so on. So that was taking a lot of my time. And again, another reason why stitching was somehow on the back burner of everything. Of course, I was just like looking at my projects, and I was just thinking that it would be so cool to just stitch again, but I somehow just couldn't do that. And now this is exactly the project that just kind of got me back, because I was looking at that and I am so in love with this pattern, with this art in general. And I was just like, yeah, I really want to have it finished at some point. So it was calling me, and I responded to this call, and here we are. And then I managed to fill my floss tube, and it brought me so much joy, and I could just like see and touch all my projects again. So again, it was just like something that was helping me find the joy again in everything. So it is happening. It is really, really happening. I am back at stitching, and I really hope, I'm just going to check in a moment what is the result of the current setup and so on, how is it working, and if it looks okay, I'm going to do that more often, because it's so much fun, and I can talk to you or talk at you, I'm sorry, and connect with you all a bit more, because I missed you. I missed my floss tube friends as well, and I am back at also watching floss tube now and so on. So I really hope that it's going to last. So yeah, that was the update, what was happening when I wasn't here. At the moment, I am trying to organize everything and kind of balance my stitching, reading, and my fitness journey. So I'm trying to find time for everything, and so far it has been working. So yeah, just touch wood. Let's hope that I'm not going to jinx it. So today we managed to add 192 stitches to this project. So thank you so much for accompanying me in that. I'm just going to finish for now. Or maybe not. I will probably continue stitching, but without talking. And yeah, I really hope that we see each other soon, and I really hope that you enjoyed that. So thank you so much. Happy stitching. Bye bye.